Hello, my wonderful people. I greet you all according to the time. Update on Peter Obi's election petition tribunal case, my people. This popular group wey dem dey call Coalition for Protection of Democracy, my people, don talk say make all government house make dem let judiciary make dem breathe. Say because make dem for know wetin dem wan do, and dem don still talk about those 7 reports wey dem report for dis election, dis 2023 presidential election. Say because judiciary need to use dat thing make dem do the right thing now, so dat make dem rescue democracy for Nigeria. And dem still talk about Tinubu and democracy. My people, make una watch dis video, make una no forget, make una hit the like button, make una share dis video, make many people see dis video.
That so maybe this is the first one. We are not recruited by any party, person, or personal interests, but by our patriotism and the love of our dear nation. We are a pro-democratic and non-partisan association. It is also the exercise of our fundamental human rights to freedom of expression and press, and freedom to lawful and peaceful assembly, that today we gather here to mount this World Press Conference to talk to our fellow Nigerians and to talk to the respective arms of government that the masses have a voice in COPDEM, and we will remain to be the voices of the masses, as I said, from the podium of our non-partisan efforts. We wish to achieve this. Critical to the emergence of COPDEM is the conduct of the 2023 general elections. You are all aware, or you may all want to know, that out of the several reports that came out of from the observers, both local and international, there is this common call, common message, and a common evaluation of the reports that the election was characterized by political and non-political malpractices. What I mean by political malpractices, malpractices committed by state and non-state actors. Now, with this, we feel as Nigerians, we deserve a place and we deserve another voice within us to say that we are not happy with what transpired throughout the conduct of the 2023 general elections, on the ground of the many infractions in respect of the application of the enabling law, which is the Electoral Act of 2022. As recent as the Electoral Act of 2022 is, it should have been given a better face, considering our own position in Nigeria as the giant of Africa, and for the years we've been in this democracy. And we believe it is out of the desire to get things right that the 2022 Electoral Act was passed. You would, from our own position here, starting with the outcome of the 2023 general elections, and then the inauguration of the incumbent government, the APC-led government, we would categorically say that, without fear of being contradicted, that our democracy has fallen down from the grass to grass. And I think you will all agree with me. Today, Nigerians across the length and breadth of the country, different levels, different backgrounds, are lamenting, as you may believe me from what my previous speakers have presented, that that woman carrying a baby on her back, that woman walking out on the street just to join the protest by Labour Congress, is a message that things are not well. our democracy ought to have protected her. Our leaders who are the custodians of this democracy, who have the power in their hands, should have protected the weakest one among us to make them feel like members of our human society. But with the face of things as they are, we are not happy. And I'm sure that woman deep down inside her will say, let the poor breathe. Part of the theme for today's conference has generally labeled the state of the nation's democracy. And then our particular focus in this maiden edition is the current threat to or on Nigeria's judiciary and the rule of law. You will agree with me that the previous speakers have highlighted the importance of separation of powers, one, in which the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, each one performs his constitutional mandate as enshrined in the Constitution. Without this, is an abuse or abuses generally across from all these tiers and arms of government, and which is telling today on the lives of the ordinary Nigerians. We will say this, that any threat on the judiciary is a threat to democracy. This is an important tenet of democracy, that the judiciary must be free, must be independent, and then for rule of law to work, we must see it being operated, meaning justice must be done, and not only done, it must be seen to be done. It must be seen to be done. And unfortunately today, no one here today will beat his chest and say that we believe in the autonomy, we believe in the independence of our judiciary. Now, permit me to go through some of the key things we have highlighted for Nigerians and the world to know. First, we have seen it that a senior advocate of Nigeria in a democratic dispensation will tell the world that if the judges uphold justice, there is going to be anarchy. Why not say that if the justices or the judges now do injustice, there will be anarchy? If not in Nigeria, where would you have a senior advocate saying that when the judges do the right thing, there is going to be anarchy? COPDEM and all well-meaning Nigerians are against these kinds of politically incorrect statements at the highest level. And based on this, let us recall on the legal profession itself, the presidency, and all arms of government to come together and condemn these approaches and condemn such utterances before our own judges, whose life might be put into danger if perchance they take what that very lawyer is saying, because it's a democratic and it's a threat. It's undemocratic and it is a threat. Now, more so, not long ago, last week, there was a support group or a coalition of support groups of APC held in Kaduna, who came out to tell the world that only God can remove Tinubu from office. Now, for the media itself to carry this is a threat to our democracy. Why do we have a judiciary? Why do we have the election petition tribunals? And why do we have all the tiers of hierarchy of courts in Nigeria? It's for justice to be done and be seen to be done. So, for any group to be given a voice to come to tell the world that only God can remove the president from his position is simply anti-democratic, and in fact this should be labeled as treason, because our constitution is the supreme law operating in Nigeria, and then we are one nation under God, but God has given us the instruments of the Constitution to be used, and then the relevant laws to be applied for justice to be done and be seen to be done. On this also, we urge on all Democrats, compatriots, Cobdemites, and all who are interested in an egalitarian Nigeria and society to condemn these approaches and to condemn these utterances as undemocratic. Our law enforcement agencies too are involved in this, because everyone must play their rules, their roles according to the game for democracy to work. Now, it is actually embarrassing for Nigeria, here right in the center of the Federal Capital Territory, for us to see two law enforcement agencies, fight each other, trying to take custody of a man who is alleged to be in the possession of firearms. And not firearms, I should use maybe in the plural sense, 1 or 2 guns. But then in the same society, in the same country, you have a bandit brandishing weapons of mass destruction and threatening genocide against a particular tribe, and yet pronouncing or claiming to be supporting a democratically elected president. With this is, I would say, an utter embarrassment to our democracy. And then that very fracas, that unfortunate incident happened right in the premises of the courts, and nothing happened. Now, whether we like it or not, this is not saying well for our democracy, and we must all come out to condemn it with our loudest voices, and that's what we are doing in COPDEM. Now, again, we equally urge our lawmakers to consider making the relevant legislations to support our democracy, because without the relevant, needful, and relevant legislations, our democracy is in danger. Now, and especially that judiciary that we are focusing today on is under threat. Now, we are all aware, and it is all over the social media, that a senator in the chambers of the Senate is making these revelations that he had influenced his wife on many occasions to pass judgment or to be of favor to some of his friends and colleagues. Now, for that to also come out, and even in the most noble of all our chambers, arm of government, I think it does not say well of our democracy, and it means our justices and judges, the judiciary entirely, is under threat. It is also important for us to say that we are concerned too by the plight of Nigerians today as it is. That certainly we all know from the background that we have looked at, and why even the Nigerian Labour Congress is on protest. It's threatening an industrial action, indefinite one, because of the way things are going. Now, not that is our major problem. We know these things happen over time. But this time around, with the incumbent government, in less than 30 days, we witnessed the salary increment for the president, vice president, and other political holders to about 114%. Now, if these are people who have been elected to represent, to serve the people, why would they start serving themselves? It does not, resonate with common sense. Now, for us in COPDEM, we believe this is very, very and highly selective. They should have started with the ordinary man on the streets, and that is our position. If the subsidy is going to be removed, now remember that these are people who are paid on world-class salaries and allowances, while our civil servants in both the private sector and the public sector are paid peanuts that can hardly take them home. Now, within this context and after the removal of the subsidy, nobody is talking about a take-home payment. We are rather talking about, I will borrow from you. Take me out. It will not even take you out, let alone for you to go to the place of work and then have a take-home bag. It's no longer the same. So this is unfortunate, and we call on the executive to reconsider this position and do something as a matter of urgency to bring out the ordinary people who voted for this government out of the condition that they are in. Now, again, you are all aware that our democracy today, as it is not working for us, but it's virtually working for some people. Now, we want it to work for everyone. That is our voice. Let us all benefit from our common resources, our common institutions, or what we locally or popularly call dividends of democracy. Now, we want to urge on the executive who have the power